everybody, and welcome to today's Hangout. Today we have a really excellent and appropriate topic to talk about. A lot of questions coming in about things like this. So we're going to talk about understanding A360 and how A360 Drive fits into this. So many of you who have been long-term A360 customers are probably wondering exactly what A360 Drive is, where things are going, and that is what we are talking about today.
My name is Brendan Hickey. I am the product manager for A360. So under Autodesk 360, there's actually two different areas of storage. We have what's called A360 Drive, and that's really your personal storage. It comes with Inventor and AutoCAD. So since 2013, we've been shipping the A360 Drive. And the way we look at this is your personal storage. So this is, I'm working on a file, I'm going through many drafts, I'm not ready really to share with anybody yet, but I do want it available across all my machines. So that's what we created A360 Drive for. It's the synchronization capability between your desktop and the A360 cloud that you have personal control over. So every individual gets an A360 Drive so long as they have a recent version of AutoCAD or Inventor or purchase a suite with one of those two applications in it. Separate from that then we have the project storage. Now the project storage is what gets shared with the team. So when you're ready to publish that, it could be a PDF, it could be your DWG, it might be even your Revit file, you can place it into the project storage and then instantly everybody who has access to the project can see that particular file. Because it's team-based storage, we have more powerful search and viewing built in there. As I mentioned before, we want folks who don't have the desktop applications or don't have the viewers installed locally to be able to just come into the project and view all these various file formats that we talked about before. And by the way, we keep adding more and more file formats over time. So even if right now there might be a few file formats we don't cover, if you check back in like every few weeks, you'll start to see more and more of those file formats supported. And we're always interested to hear what file formats you'd like to see us support. You know, please do come into the forums and let us know what you'd like to see. As well as that, because it's a team area, we have the commenting, wikis, team management, all the great social aspects that you might expect within a project or things that you might expect to do with a team. And the differences in storage between the, or difference in storage limits rather between the two A360 Drive and A360 project storage. So on the personal storage side, you get a personal limit. So you have a 5 GB limit if you're just using the free capability, or if you have an active subscription with Autodesk, then you get a 25 GB limit within A360 Drive. On the team side, because it's many folks coming together within the project storage, we actually define the storage limit per team member, but it's total for the hub in which the projects reside. So you get between 5 and 10 GB limit per team member. So that means that if you have, if you've purchased 10 seats within A360 team, then you're going to have a 100 GB limit across all your projects. So with that, I am going to turn to the demo and kind of just go through the various storage and where you see them and how they connect together. So first of all, let's just go to my desktop. Now I know I keep my font size very small here. Hopefully everybody can see. But up here on the left-hand side, you'll see all my favorite storage areas, and of course in here I have A360 Drive. So these files are actually stored on my local computer and I can edit them within whatever application that I have based locally. You'll see this nice check mark on them all, and that check mark means that this data has been synced into A360. When I come into A360, so I just go to Autodesk360.com, I sign in, awesome designs I've been working on, even including some of this presentation. Right here I have all the activities that I might see across all my projects, but for this particular presentation, we're interested in the data. So let me just go click on the Data tab. And straight away up here you see the project data. Let me click on that first maybe. So these are all the projects that I have, and I can navigate down through these projects into the data that's stored in the individual projects, and this works like a Windows Explorer, Mac Finder type interface that you might expect to see. Then I can go click on the A360 Drive. So the files that you just saw on my desktop are present here within the A360 Drive. And I can keep working on these, and nobody else is going to see these files unless I particularly share the files with folks, or I have this nice option that I can copy the item into an A360 project. I also have the ability to edit these files online within AutoCAD 360. So let me maybe jump over here temporarily.
Hey, Brendan.
I was
forgetting. Maybe you can shrink your screen up a little bit and push it up into the upper right corner there, or upper left corner, I'm sorry.
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Coming through, yeah, better.
Yep, okay. Right there you go. That's good.
So here I am, I just went to AutoCAD360.com. I'm going to sign in here. And what we'll see here is all the files that I had within A360 Drive are available within AutoCAD 360. So if I want to edit on my tablet, or I want to edit on a computer where I don't have AutoCAD installed, all the files that we just saw are right here, and I can work on them no matter where I am, so long as I've got that connection. So again, the data appeared in 3 different places there as I went through the aspects of Drive. It's on my desktop, it's synced into A360 under Drive, and it's also available within AutoCAD 360. All these locations are synchronized together. And then from there, as I mentioned, it's pretty simple. I just copy them over into my projects. Once I have items in my projects, I can come in, and now it starts to get shared with the team. This is just some sample data I'm working on. You can see here I happen to have a Revit file that I uploaded pretty recently, and I can open that and bring it into my viewer. This will take a minute as the file is a little bit large, but anybody that is in the project can now come in and have a look at this Revit file here that I just uploaded. So hopefully that explains it for everybody. If you have any questions on that, please do let us know. We're always monitoring the forums as well, so please come in, leave comments, observations, anything you'd like us to improve. We do watch them quite heavily. You'll see myself, Brett, and Budge in the forums quite frequently. We do respond to items. So, yeah, we'd love to get the conversation going.
So there's a couple questions here, Brendan. One of them was, so when we originally started off the presentation, you noticed that there's a large amount of AEC individuals on the phone. So is there any, and you talked about how you mentioned Revit, you mentioned Inventor and AutoCAD that Sync was part of initially. What about for Revit users? Any special recommendations for them or input there?
Yeah, there is. For Revit users in particular, I can't preempt some new awesome capabilities that are about to arrive around collaborative editing, but please do watch out around Autodesk University. There's some exciting new developments that we are working on right now, and there'll be some announcements there, particularly on the collaborative editing side within Revit. But as you can see here, I'm looking at a Revit file right now within the viewer, so you can today upload a Revit file. They do tend to be quite large and complex, so sometimes you will notice that the translation may take a little bit of time to come up before you can see it in the viewer. That's quite normal. For very, very large files, you might even want to give it a few hours because we have lots of servers running in our data center, crunching on all these files just to get them ready so that they can be viewed within the viewer. I should add as well that we do have the capability that if you want to upload something like a Revit file, show it in the viewer, it is possible to share that file without making the download available. So if you want to share this capability or share the view with one of your customers, for example, but you don't want them getting access to the source file, that is possible through sharing and sharing through public links.
Great. Here's another question about specific to the viewer. So there's specifically it states the viewer for Glue seems a little bit more robust for large models and being able to select entities and get their information. Is this something that might be rolled into A360 down the road? So specifically, somebody's comparing the glue viewer to the LMB viewer that we have currently. Any roadmap for that type of interaction in LMB?
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment you can navigate your way through the items or down into the item level detail within the viewer here. But yeah, we definitely are expanding the capability. The vision that we have is that we can have a single viewer within Autodesk that can view anything and also provide you the capability to search down to the item level within any design that you might have. Maybe I'll try, let's see if we can pick something else. Let's see, let's pick up my Navisworks file here. It'll just take a minute to load. There we go. Okay. Hopefully folks can see this. Now, you can actually spin this up in a full screen mode. Because we're having fun with screen sizes here, unfortunately I can't do that today. But once this thing is loaded, we do have the ability to show the hierarchy of the data within the various designs, and you can search through that. So here we go. It'll take a minute to come up. But yes, the short answer to the question is absolutely we're going to have all the full-blown capability that you might see in our other viewers integrated into what we call here the LMB viewer within A360 going forward.
Okay, great. I had a quick question about size of files. So there's a customer that's asking a question about 1+ gig in size. So what happens when I have a site that's got 20 or so of these larger Revit models or Revit files in there? Will I be able to share files that size? Is there any restrictions on that, Brendan?
Yeah, there's no restrictions on the file size. It's generally just as the files come in, we do have to internally process the files so we can show them in the viewer. And the larger the file size, the longer it takes to process. So all we'd ask is just that you give it a little bit of time before you come back and attempt to view the file. And sometimes, particularly for Revit, and for those very large file types, that could take a few hours depending on how many items we have in the queue. For DWG files, it's literally a couple of minutes. It's very fast. It's just Revit in particular tends to be, very large, very complex files, and we have a lot of them coming up. So that's the reason for sometimes having a bit of a delay. This all said, we are working hard to improve that processing process so that it will go a lot faster in the future. But absolutely, please do attempt to upload those files and let us know how you get on. We actually call this the LMB viewer, which means the large model viewer, and we're trying to design it specifically to handle very large files.
Very good. Another question about external or other drives. Oh, go ahead, Bud.
There is a limit from the operating system of 3 gigs, so you want to keep that in mind. And that's just in the upload and the download process, not the viewing side of it.
Gotcha. Very
That's
good.
correct. I will go after that we are increasing the limit on the A360 Drive side because we do have more control over that. We're not going through the browser. So you will be able to start uploading bigger files on that in the future.
Gotcha.
This space.
Yeah, so the question about links to or plan to support other drives like Box, Dropbox, Buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, you probably saw my own Windows Explorer. I'm a big fan of all of these, and we definitely want to be able to connect into your data no matter where it is and give very simple ways to copy data in and out of those locations. We don't have it switched on quite yet, but expect in the very near future you will start to see the ability to copy files over and back between many different locations and not just Box and Dropbox. We will light them up one by one. And as regards timeline, I can't say precisely when it's going to happen, but expect something within the next, I would measure it in weeks as to when we'll have that available.
Gotcha.
Watch this space.
Okay. Is there any? I guess why don't we take a break on the questions for right now, and then Heather, did you want to take back over, or I'm not sure where we go from here. I mean, there's a lot more questions. Let me go through some of these, and then I'll I'll be back here in a minute to give them to you.
Yeah. So Brendan, are you done? Are you happy for me to take back control?
Very happy. Thank you, Heather.
Okay. All right. Let me change the presenter to myself. Okay. And then, yep, so we have a couple more slides. So this one, nice animation, Nisha. So if you are going to AU this year, we are going to be doing a live hangout from Las Vegas. We will also be streaming that hangout live online. So just like you're participating in the hangout with us today, we will have that same opportunity, and we'll be hearing from the Vice President of our Cloud Platforms team. We'll have some customers talking about how they're using A360, and then we'll give you some other tips and tricks and live Q&A, so kind of like we're doing right now. And I know that one of the topics is what Brendan was kind of stealthy about earlier, about Revit and the cloud and production and things like that. So that we will have someone from that team talking and introducing that new product there as well. So the way to sign up for this, if you're going to AU, you will be getting a notification coming from the AU management email engine to give you details on time, place, and everything. And then we will have a sign up for this. If you're not attending live and would like to join us online, you can sign up by going to the Autodesk360.com site on the Hangout page, and you can sign up there, and we will be doing a live stream of that. And then I know that there are probably lots of other questions, but here are some quick tips to help you get started in A360 if you haven't already. There is a free 30-day trial. You just go to Autodesk360.com and hit the Try Now button and get you up and running. And then for help and tutorials, there is Autodesk.com/A360help. Lots of great videos and information about specific features and functions to help you get started and make sure you're getting the best use of it for yourself. We do have Bud and Brett and loads of people manning the user forums. So any kind of questions you have, you can always go out there, see what other people are asking, possibly the very same questions that you have, and you can connect directly with our customer success teams. And then if you still have questions, you are welcome to email us at aska360@autodesk.com. This is also a good place if you have any ideas for topics that you would like to see us cover in a future Hangout. You can submit those there as well. And then the mobile app, we have mobile app for both iOS and Android, and you can download those on their respective stores. And I think that that's all I wanted to cover for this. If you want to go ahead and continue with the Q&A, Brett.
Yeah, we still have a lot of questions. Bud, did you have something that you wanted to ask first?
I was going to add just one more tip to Heather's slide there that's kind of cool, is we also have the idea station, as well as the general discussion. You can go to the idea station and you can post something that you would like to see as an enhancement to an existing feature, or even a new feature you'd like to see in A360 or A360 Drive, either one. We have idea stations on both. And also take a look if there's an existing comment that you like, give it a kudos so everybody knows you like it. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah, and then that is part of the forum. People can get to there from the forums, correct, Bud?
Yes.
Very good. So yeah, let's jump back over to back into the Q&A. I know we got a lot of questions here, folks, so I'll try to go through them as we have another 25 minutes here. There was a question about what are the most preferred browsers. So definitely Firefox and Chrome for the LMV. Somebody asked specifically, does that mean there's no support for IE? And that's not true. No, Internet Explorer does work for 2D. But if you're going to leverage the LMV viewer and all the enhancements that has to offer, you definitely want to be using Chrome and Firefox for those larger 3D models. So I don't know, Brendan or Bud, if there's anything else to add to that. The next question.
We're waiting for some WebGL or some more WebGL support in IE11, but that is on our roadmap, and yeah, do expect to see that. Microsoft are promising us some help in Q1 to get everything we want switched on. So yeah, we're big fans here of IE. Can't wait to get that switched on.
Great. What about Windows iPhone app? Any sign of a Windows iPhone app? So Bud and I have seen this a lot in the forums. People are definitely looking for Windows 8 support or Windows iPhone or Windows Phone app type thing. So any roadmap for that?
A Windows app in particular? Yeah, we right now it's not on our roadmap, but we are monitoring usage. You know, just within our customer set, the number of folks we're seeing coming with Windows Phone right now is not high enough really for us to put a dedicated team on to build that up. But as we said, we are monitoring it, and if we start to see more usage, we might put some folks on that and see if we can provide some support there. I would add though, there will be some improvements made to the website soon, such that it's going to be a lot easier to browse the website from your phone. So you will still get access to all the great capabilities you see, and expect that sometime, maybe in the middle of next year, you're going to see some major improvements to the site that will help folks no matter what mobile device that they're on. Great.
Hey, what about Mac support? So I know you're on a Mac today, so somebody was asking, what about, does Mac work well with A360? Any restrictions or tips or tricks for what I need to do if I'm using a Mac versus a PC with A360?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, we do support Firefox on the latest version of Safari. The viewer and all the capabilities work quite well there. We do prefer Chrome, of course, so if you're on the Mac, do download Chrome. We think we get the best experience there. If you do have AutoCAD for Mac also comes with the A360 Drive that I was speaking about earlier. And watch out in the next few months, we're going to be delivering some enhancements specifically for the Mac folks. We're pretty excited about it. And we're looking at, very early next year to deliver a new desktop capability for Mac.
Got it. We had a question here from a user. Do files from a project in 360 get synced to your desktop automatically via A360 Drive?
No, they do not, and that was on purpose. The few reasons for that, as folks start to put in files into a project, you can get a heck of a lot of data in there, and then if we started synchronizing all that data down to folks' individual drives, that would be a lot of data going to a lot of different people's desktops. But we do recognize that folks want the ability to be able to edit their files just in the personal space, so what we enabled is you can copy files from a project into your drive. If you have AutoCAD or Inventor, they will sync down onto your desktop. You can edit them there, and when you're finished, then you can copy them back from A360 Drive into your project when you really want everybody else to see those files.
Right. And if I'm using Revit, I would just manually push them into those folders. Is that right, or manually upload into Drive?
Yeah, we find many folks at Revit actually also have AutoCAD and also may have the Drive.
Okay.
Some folks now they may have received the Drive when they got AutoCAD. Maybe at the time they didn't switch it on. But if you rerun that install again, you will see the Drive available, and you can go ahead and install that, and you will get A360 Drive.
Right. And then I know the answer to this one. Somebody's asking, can we import files from a project from Drive to Team? Actually, yes, you can migrate and copy those, and we actually have there's a post up on the forum that I'll send out the link. Matthew, for that for you. So if you're listening still, if you're still on the line, I'll definitely give you the link for that, and everybody else as well.
Yeah, the thing to look out for there is within A360, as I demonstrated, under the menu actions, there's a copy to A360 projects, and
right.
That's where the capability is to copy from your Drive into your project space.
Gotcha. All right. Next question: is the local folder, for your Drive, dedicated, or can it be the same one that syncs with another cloud service?
Right now it's dedicated. When we looked at synchronizing with other cloud services, there was some race conditions that can occur depending on how they operate. This all said, we're looking at a different mechanism to connect with the different cloud services where literally from within the website itself, you can connect to Dropbox and Box on that side and import and export files from those services. And that's coming in the next few months.
Gotcha. Let's see, I'm just keeping going down through the list, ones that we've already covered. Oh, we have a large library of Inventor Publisher, so our users can access them through their mobile phones. Any idea if A360 will allow users to download and view .ipb or .ipbmv locally?
If which user, sorry, Brett?
For Inventor Publisher. Users are trying to access their Inventor Publisher files through their mobile phones through A360. So to be able to allow them to download and view the IPB or IPBMV files locally.
So I know that if you install the application on your phone, so the A360 app that's mentioned down there within Heather's slide, you should be able to use that application to view the files. We have a dedicated viewer in there.
So let me add a little bit to that. That particular file format is not supported on our web or our mobile, so they would still have to use Inventor Publisher. I actually just answered this week in the forum.
Oh, thank you, Bush.
Sure, no problem. And the
good.
tip there is to go to the website and click on Help, and then there's a list of all the file formats that are supported, and we update that every time we support another format.
Yeah, so sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself because I know what's coming. So we are, let's say we are working with that team, and that is one of the items that we're working on to get that all those formats available within the viewer. We are doing our best. What we prefer, or at least what our users tell us, is they prefer when files don't end up on many different devices in many different locations and you're trying to track it. So what we want to do is make the in-application or in-browser viewer so great you won't need to send those files anywhere else, and you always know where your single source of truth is.
Gotcha. Hey, here's a question for you, Bud, that I know that you've answered. How do reference files work, like XREFs? How does that work? And from local drive to a project, what's the recommendation to get them from drive to a project?
So if you're using A360 Drive, then you would use the sync component that comes with desktop, like AutoCAD or Inventor, and that will grab all the reference files. If you're using A360, you would do a composite upload, and you would just want to make sure those reference files were in that folder or one of the subfolders under that folder so that we can find them and put them back together as composite on the 360 site.
Gotcha. Very good. There's a good question about how does the workflow work with Vault for Inventor users out there? Somebody's asking about they must be using Vault as well. And how does that work? How does that whole interaction or that workflow work? If I'm using Inventor and Vault and would want to potentially use Sync, Drive, and being able to migrate data up to my A360 project.
So maybe I can take that one. So at the moment, they're just, you can view them as two separate locations. You know, Vault has lots of great data management capabilities for especially folks who are working with a lot of files on kind of high-end projects, and there's life cycles associated with those files. Right now within A360 Project, it's a pretty simple storage solution. We don't have all those life cycle capabilities turned on, but again, I would ask everybody to watch this space. We are working on some really exciting capabilities. We're very excited about it, and watch out for some announcements in this space around AU and a little bit later. I think our Vault users, our current Vault users, are going to be happy about what they hear as we're working on and is coming down the pipe.
Very good. Excellent. A couple of other questions about, so are we still doing, are you still doing okay on time, Brendan? We're still good? Okay, very good. Yep. Okay. ArchiCAD files, access via A360.
So AutoCAD architecture, yeah, I need to go, I'm pretty sure we're supporting it. I know either we do support it or we're on the verge of supporting it. I haven't kept up with that one recently, but we have been working on it.
Gotcha.
So again, that's another watch this space, but definitely may already be there. I know we did turn on recently Civil 3D. Civil 3D, AutoCAD Civil 3D is on. Let me go back and check with our AutoCAD team, and I'll post something maybe in the forums specifically on AutoCAD architecture.
Well, and I think this is specifically the company or the product, ArchiCAD. So it's not our stuff, it's somebody else's files. So
Okay,
ArchiCAD, yeah. So that was my fault in not articulating that. So I suspect the answer is saying no. I don't know that, but I don't have that list pulled up on the different types of file formats that we're supporting. But yeah, I'm not sure on that as far as supporting that file format or not. So we'll take a look at that and get back to this individual. As far as
again, if there's certain file formats that we're not covering that folks would really like us to see, the best thing to do is go to the forums, or go to the idea station, add them in there, give lots of kudos on those comments, and then we'll know that there's a big request coming in for those file formats. And same for the the Windows Phone users out there. We are starting to hear that a little bit more for more support for these users. So please do go ahead. The more votes these things get, the higher up in our priority list it becomes, and we'll start working on this stuff.
Great, yeah, and I would just call out too, anybody that's in A360, if you look at the upper right corner with the circle with the question mark, you click on that help icon, and that's, there's a great resource of information or a great bevy of resources there that includes, browser supported, file format supported, all that sort of information is constantly kept up to date there too. So we got a great question here about sharing subfolders under the project level versus at that root project level, and wanting to understand the understanding behind that, I guess. So, because right now we currently only share, you can only share at the project level, start separating users at that level. This individual is wondering, will we ever think about or take a look at, sharing individual folders underneath the project folder?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we created projects, the concept was that everybody in the project should see all data within that project. And within that construct, it means that if you have a group of people who shouldn't see everything in the project, what we prefer to happen is that you actually create a separate project for the various different teams that need to work together on a set of data. And that way, like pretty easily, just by looking at who's got access to the project, you can see very, very quickly who has access to all of the files within the project. This all said, though, we recognize that there's certain cases, like I want to share a particular file with a customer or with a supplier, and you don't want to have to spin up a project just especially to do that. So we have two different capabilities there. The first one that's already available is the share public link, or even share a private link. So you can share a link to any file that's within the project, and we're working on folders right now as well, and that gets shared out as a link the way you might share a Dropbox link. And the other one we're working on is a special type of a share space within the project so that you can put certain files in there, bring that small subset of folks in. They won't see everything that's going on in the project, but they can see those particular files.
Cool. Excellent. Hey, here's a great question. Is there any plans to include or improve the markup tools within the LMV and for other file formats, PDF, Excel, etc.? What's our thoughts on that, Brendan?
I'm starting to think, Brett, that you're making up these questions because they're actually all we're working on. Right?
I'm not. No, this one came in. Charles Ross, thank you for putting that into the queue. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, we are working quite hard on markup and measurement. Again, I would encourage to watch out around AU. I think we'll have some exciting announcements in this area, and yeah, you'll start to see some of these capabilities start to land into the product at some stage next year, and very early next year. Very good. Excellent. Well, we have come to a halt in the queue. Brendan, that was it. The awesome questions. Cool. Yeah, no, they were really great questions, and I just want to, hats off to everybody because this is great. This is when we get questions like this, it makes us feel good because then we know people are they're using the product, they're trying to help us make it better, and obviously we've got a lot of people in the call today, and it's really great to see these levels of questions. So good stuff. Bud, did you have something to add there?
I did.
Or Heather?
You couldn't hear me.
No, I was just...
Oh, sorry.
On the markup part of the question, that's actually already started in mobile for both Android and iOS on the photo part. So you can you could be at a construction site, take a photo of something, and then mark that up, put comments, and push it straight back to your A360 site. So we're moving in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the approach that we take is to release a lot of these capabilities incrementally. We're not just kind of waiting on a big bang one time a year. So, you know, as Bud mentioned, yeah, it's starting to come out now on the phone, and we want a fully connected experience for all the markups, and no matter what location you're in. We're just making sure that we figure out correctly who can see what, when, and where. But yeah, it will start to come out one piece at a time.
Yep. Hey, there is one last question. The gentleman actually, thanks Ken for reminding me. Any integration with SharePoint?
That was one I was not prepared for. I know you didn't make that one up.
I did not make this one up. Yeah.
So,
hey Ken, don't feel bad. It's a good question. Don't feel bad about asking it.
No,
Here we got Ken apologizing in the queue here for us. No, Ken, great question.
Absolutely. No, we actually have put some thought into this around SharePoint, especially for the enterprise folks. Right now, you know, as mentioned, we have the sync drive capability, we have the browser upload. We don't have a component that specifically integrates with SharePoint. It's not something that we're working on right now, but we do have some other capabilities where maybe in the future we'll look at integrating some of what we have back into SharePoint instead of maybe trying to connect SharePoint into our website. That's one future approach that we might look at, or we might just create a connection into SharePoint similar to what we're working on for Box and Dropbox and all the other major providers. But again, this is something we really need a lot of input from our customers on. So again, please come into our forums. Let us know how you'd like to see it, what maybe some of the use cases are, and you know, we can provide a more detailed response there.
Yeah, and that's a really great plug for that, isn't it? Now, I know, Bud, you also mentioned this a few minutes ago. Yeah, folks, if for great ideas like this, you know, the importance is really for you guys to be able to log this in the idea station so that Bud and I can respond to it, or so most importantly, so that others can respond to it and vote on it to say, yeah, me too, I want that functionality as well and built into A360. So definitely make sure you guys do that. For these are, you know, these and other great questions or ideas that you might come up with. Here's a really good question, Brendan. This is one that I know you know because we chatted about it a little bit yesterday. Is there going to be any differences in the 360 Drive experience? This person's wanting to know when I migrate from my 2013 BDS or Building Design Suite to my 2015 product. Should, you know, as they migrate to their next upgraded product or upgradable product, is there any expectation of different different functionality or different experience there, or is it primarily the same thing?
Actually, that's a great question. So one thing folks might have started noticing if you're a A360 Drive user is that we have started to post updates to A360 Drive on the Knowledge Network. We'll provide a link from the forums to that. We do encourage anybody who's running A360 Drive today to come and take that latest update and install it. And the capability that's coming out next year, it is incremental based on what you have today. So there's no major change. Everything is still going to continue to work as is. It's exactly what you're used to, just with a few new bells and whistles that we're going to turn on. But our intention is that we are going to release the new capabilities to everybody who has A360 Drive, even if you have a slightly older version of AutoCAD or Inventor or any of the suites that include it. So we'll post a link to that in the forums, and yeah, we highly encourage everybody to stay on that latest client.
Very good. Bud, I got a question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. So this individual is talking about geolocation capabilities within DWG and DWF files. Is that available?
Geolocation itself, no. There's a feature inside of AutoCAD that allows some Bing map stuff, but that's separate from A360.
Okay. And let's see here. Samantha, you're asking about a comparison link between A360 Drive and Team. Yes, we can send that out to you. It's something we've already got documented on the forums. And oh, we got somebody talking about wanting to talk about pricing and what is free, what is included, subscription, and all the above. Beyond that, yes, we definitely have that well documented as well, and so we'll send that out to the entire crew as well. So,
On that one, if you come to the A360 homepage, there's a pricing page up on the top right. If you just click there, all the details are there.
Yep, Autodesk360.com is the proper place to go. Absolutely.
/pricing if you don't want to click.
/pricing. There you go. Excellent.